So to get started with building our React components and importing them to our stories, we're first going to make some changes to our configuration. So by default, we're pulling in a list of stories with the file extension .stories.js, which can be found in the directory stories as specified in the configuration function. Now, if we go ahead and replace the directory name with components and save that file, and then rename the stories directory to components, then we've made a start on the new configuration. But I'm going to go ahead and start writing out my components in an atomic structure. So we'll group the component I'm going to write as an atom, and I'm going to create a button. And we're going to move our button story into the button directory. And we're going to go ahead and remove the welcome story. Now we can go ahead and rename the button file to lowercase button.stories.js. And the first thing we're going to do is we're going to move this export default to the bottom of the page. And we're going to add a new key to the export, which will be a component. And we're going to export button as a component just as a best practice to help document what component is being written about. So if we go ahead now and run npm run Storybook, this should open up our Storybook environment. Still loading the old one because it's still booting. Cool, and now we have our new Storybook environment with the group button, and we've got our components rendering as before. But now we're going to replace the button component with a component of our own. So I'm going to go ahead and write a file called button.jsx. I'm going to import React from React, and we're just going to make a really basic button. Cool, so we've got a button which will return whatever we put within our button component and the text basic. So in our button stories, we're going to go ahead and import button. But we're going to put our relative new file, button, and bring it down. And now if we load up our Storybook environment, we have basic, just a button, and basic emoji, which shows that our new button component is being registered and being brought into our stories, which means that we've successfully configured Storybook to use our new structure and to pull in a custom component that we've written. Now I'm going to go ahead and get rid of basic because I don't want that rendering on every button, but we now know that our Storybook environment is working with our new configuration, which means that we are ready to start writing more components and setting up more global configuration for our Storybook environment.